I'm so glad you brought this up because it's something I write about in my book that I mean, I haven't studied nearly to the extent that you have, but you know, pain and illness can be messages from our body, right? That something is out of alignment, that we're not following the path we're meant to, that we haven't processed something. And so much of it comes from repressed emotions. And there's, I mentioned Johnny Sarnos earlier. He says a very similar thing. He focuses mostly on rage, like unexpressed rage.
Hmm.
But I've noticed that in my own life too. I had chronic headaches for so long, and then I finally realized they were from stress and from like everything else in my body tensing up, and it just happened to present that way. Because the other thing that's fascinating is pain doesn't originate in the body part that you feel it, right? It's in your brain and nervous system, which is just like such a mind trip. Okay, so I have not read the emotion code or the body code, so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about what they are and what you're learning. And I know you told me before that you're not allowed to teach any of it, so tell us as much as you're allowed to, because I think sometimes just hearing that this is a possibility can help so many people, right? Just having that
Yeah.
realization.
And the amazing thing about it is that any of the listeners can just go and purchase the book or the audiobook, and they can apply this themselves right away when they're reading the book. So they actually don't need to do a certification course if they don't want to. They don't have to do anything. They can just get the book, read it, and do it for themselves. So I love that. It's simple, it's very easy to read and understand. And so, any of the listeners, if this is something they might want to try, just go out, download the Audible or buy the book off of Amazon, read it, and just do it. Try it on yourself and see what happens. That's how simple it is. So it is based on the assumption that because as human beings, we are all energetic beings. We're all made up of energy. We have vibrations, we have frequency, and all of the emotions vibrate at certain frequencies as well. And so the emotion code specifically goes on the premise that when these events happen where we're vibrating at these very low frequencies, such as pain and anger, shame, guilt, like those vibrate at very low frequencies, that that actually in these events can cause our organs to take on those frequencies, and then they can turn into thoughts, and they can then affect our behaviors. And so that kind of turns into that whole cycle of emotions actually affecting every bit of our body through frequency and through vibration. And so, like I said before, when we have these events, and sometimes we have traumatic events and our body just processes them, we're able to go through, let them go. We're able to maybe get some exercise, shake it off, and move on. But very often, these emotional events will actually stay in our bodies. They become stuck in there, and they become stuck in the cells of our body. And then they begin causing problems. And so the emotion code then goes on the premise that we can, through muscle testing, so through speaking with our subconscious mind, that we can discover whether or not we have these trapped emotions, where they are in our body, and what those emotions are so that they can be released. And this again goes on the premise that the subconscious mind really is aware of anything and everything that has happened through our lifetime. That the subconscious mind really, it knows every traumatic event we've had, it knows every emotion we have felt, it knows which emotions were related to which event, which memories are related to that, and that we can use the subconscious as sort of this really vast resource to discover where our trapped emotions are, and then bring them to the awareness of our conscious mind, and through that release them. So it's a very simple procedure. If you think about it, it's a very simple approach, but it's so profound, and the results of that, speaking to other people who work with the emotion code and the body code, have been life changing for many people.